And welcome back to Luminary Leaders Live. I'm your host, Shelly Harrison, and we have been a little bit off key for a few weeks. We haven't been on, but we're back. And I just want to welcome my guest today, Jacquelyn Flesner. And you'll see her in just right next to me there. She is an amazing woman. I met her through a mutual friend of ours. So you'll meet her in just a moment. I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, who is Dan Leonard with Endeavor Mortgage, and they can handle all of your home loan solutions and also on the real estate side as well. So we want to thank Dan and his team for the sponsorship. Thank you so much. And Joey, I want to welcome you to Luminary Leaders Live. How are you?
Hi, Shelly. Thank you so much. It's been a long time in the making. I'm excited that it's finally here. I'm honored.
I know. Yeah. And like I was mentioning, we met each other through Caterina Rando. So we want to give Caterina Rando a shout out and thank her for the connection. Yeah. Bing, as she would say, right?
Right.
And I know that I believe the first thing that she told me about you was that you are just the quintessential etiquette leader who has been doing some wonderful work, and you have your GlossLoft Foundation and community. And then also you have other groups that we're going to talk about. So before we get into that, Joey, I would love for you to just kind of share with our audience, where you're at right now with just life and, the groups that you're running and the communities that you've created, and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, first of all, so much for the opportunity to share with your audience. I always love new connections, and Caterina, as you mentioned, is a really great connector. So she and I share some of the same space, and it's really always a treat when she has someone in mind that would be a great friend and collaborator. So I'm thankful to be able to be in touch with you and be here today. So yes, where I'm at right now, my platter is abundantly full, as I like to say. I have been an empty nester, my husband and I, now for a little over 2 years. And now that I have really my full days to focus on my community and pursuing my passions, it's amazing all of the doors that are being flung open. So I'm in a really good spot right now, personally, professionally. Although I will say there are many days when it's overwhelming, and
I can imagine
not seem to delegate enough, if that makes sense. So
yeah. But how wonderful, and you mentioned that your husband and yourself are empty nesters. And first of all, you don't look old enough to have kids that would be moving out. So there's that. But with that extra time and, just being able to focus on you, right? And building these communities that you have. And let's start with the GlossLoft, because I think, I was really intrigued by that. And I know you also have a cruise that's going to be coming up in February, just around the corner. We're almost in 2024, right?
Yes.
But I definitely want to talk about the cruise and all the greatness that you bring to the world, Joey. And being an empty nester, though, now that you're having all this extra time, and, you mentioned the overwhelm. I think, when I first met you, you were just so pleasant. And, I could tell, I mean, when I heard that you were an etiquette, you're in that space, I was just impressed by the way you carry yourself. And I would imagine that there's a lot of women that you've been able to help and support in that area. And then GlossLoft, that's another component. So let's talk about GlossLoft.
Yes, thank you so much. So my corporation is the Etiquette Network. I founded it back in 2011 after a career transition change that sort of fell into my lap very suddenly, which is a story for another day. But I had always had a passion for etiquette. I had been certified in business etiquette, and really not so much as a rule follower, because I think people think about etiquette as being a set of rules. And I'm one of those that I say, I love rules, but I don't necessarily want to follow them myself.
Oh, I know that.
Right? You know that feeling?
I know that feeling. Yeah.
Find the gray area, if you will.
Yeah.
But for me, the importance of etiquette is being less self-centered, more others focused. And that's really
Yeah.
the heart of good manners all the way around if we put other people first. And so through the journey that has been my career, I'm in a place now where I get to spend my days and my energy supporting women, supporting female entrepreneurs through education, through inspiration, and through fostering collaborative connections between them. And I do that while also incorporating this desire of etiquette and of elevated professionalism. So
Mm.
I really like to help women treat their business like a business. And what that means is being a professional. And sometimes the world wants to tell us that we can just wing it and completely be who we are. And to some degree, I agree with that. But there's also a level of professionalism that has to be implemented into
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
genuineness. Otherwise, people won't take you seriously.
And we both know that's so true, and there are, a lot of women, I think, because we are juggling a lot, like you mentioned, there's some overwhelm and sometimes we have to always, we have to compose ourselves and we have to be mindful, when we're talking with others or we're in a group of people and, being out there in the community, what kind of recommendations do you have? When it comes to professional etiquette, what are some of those things that you share with your groups, with GlossLoft and the other your mom's group, which we'll talk about that in just a minute.
Sure. Well, there's certainly a long list of things that we should consider when we're doing
Mhm.
business with others, but keeping that others first mindset front and center, everything we do should be through that lens. And
Yeah.
maybe the number one example that I can think of is respecting other people's time.
Mm.
I'm one like you are that I schedule probably no less than 25 to 30 conversations one-on-one every week. And so
Mhm.
when women cancel those or they're late for those, it really throws not only my day into a little bit of a spin, but then it impacts the other women that are on my slate for that day.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I feel like perhaps sometimes we in the space can not treat appointments as if they're business appointments. I use my husband again as an example. He's in corporate America. It
Yeah.
literally has to be some major emergency to the nth degree for him to cancel a Teams meeting, right? Or for him to
Oh,
cancel a
yeah.
Zoom. And so that is a level of professionalism that is anticipated in that higher executive sphere. And
Right.
I would love to encourage the women who are building businesses on their own to also put on that hat, to realize that once you've made a commitment, whether it be to yourself in your business to hit certain goals, or whether it be to someone else that you've made a commitment to attend something or to be on time, that you actually show up, that you're
Yeah.
there, that you're fully present while you're there. Not also, it'd be very rude right now if I said, oh, excuse me, let me ticky tack on my phone a little bit. But we see it all of the time. And
We
that's
do.
usually
Yeah.
because women aren't taking themselves seriously, and they're certainly not respecting other women in business with
Yeah.
the same caliber of expectation, I think. So I just try
Yeah.
to send that message out a little bit more to remind women that, hey, if you're running 10 minutes late for an event and you don't send a message, or it's a habitual thing, it really
Yeah.
dampens your level of professionalism, and in the long run is probably hurting your ability to grow and to thrive and to hit the goals that you've set for yourself.
Oh, exactly. And, you don't want to be that person that, oh gosh, she's always late,
Mhm.
or, just not be taken seriously. And I think, when you're committing to, like you said, you do 25 to 30 appointments a week, that is rigorous, and it takes a lot of energy on your part to be able to have those conversations. So, for people to just blatantly be late or not show up and not text or give some kind of an indication that they're going to be late, that obviously is, something that all of us can learn from and, do better. Right.
Right. Well, and it's that level of expectation where what are the reasons that you would cancel? It has to
Mhm.
be something pretty significant. And
Serious.
so that is just a reflection of them having their priorities maybe uh, not clearly identified, and thinking that we can set the world on fire in business takes a lot of self-discipline.
It does.
It means that we're
It
willing
does.
to put on our blinders, really focus, and we have to say no to some fun things. I'm in a season of life right now where, by the grace of God, I don't really have to work. I don't
Oh,
financially need to, but
yeah.
I'm driven by a deeper purpose in doing what I do. And that's really honest. The whole human connection piece is vital for me. And I think it's vital for other people.
Yeah.
So I wake up every day excited about it. Well, I find that many other women, at least in the entrepreneurial segment, for the most part, and this is just a generalization, but for the most part, a lot of them aren't necessarily doing it for the income. They're
Mhm.
doing it for pursuing a passion. And so that, on the negative side, makes it really easy for them to chase another shiny object, right? Or say, oh, I've had a
Yeah.
better opportunity come up. I was supposed to do a bunch of follow-up phone calls today or a bunch of sales calls, but I've been asked to
A
go play
shiny object over
pickleball,
here.
and I'd rather go do that. And so some of it has to do with the real need to either earn income or grow a business, because let's
Yeah.
face it, those women that are needing to support themselves to keep a roof over their head, my
Oh,
guess is that a lot of times they're treating their business with a little bit more intensity.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think too, when we look at our business, for those of the, we're actually going to be celebrating 10 years next April in business, which I'm very excited about. But in the very beginning, in my humble beginnings, I was fortunate because I was in a corporate career just like you. And I think coming from the corporate world, you have a good sense of, what customer service is about and, honoring appointments and things like that. And for you, I really love how you're advocating, this for women. And it's something that, there are a lot of areas that I think GlossLoft has, been successful in, bringing these women together. And can you kind of share with our audience, Joey, how do they get involved with GlossLoft?
Yeah, sure. So GlossLoft is, the word gloss is actually an acronym, stands for
Yeah.
Grow, Link with Others, Share and Shine. We're a community of women. The word loft is an intentional choice as well, because a loft is an elevated space. It's a
Mm,
safe
yeah.
space to have intimate conversations. It's a comfortable space to come together with people that you enjoy hanging out with. And so GlossLoft was a choice in a name that really defined the type of atmosphere that we're hoping to create in a virtual sense. So what
Yeah.
it is we offer a minimum of 10 Zoom meetups every month. And each
Oh.
one of those meetups is an opportunity for women to come into our loft, into our Zoom room.
Mhm.
They introduce their businesses. They get to meet women from all around the United States and a few abroad as well. We have some
Yeah.
lovely women from Canada and Panama
Oh.
and Costa Rica. And there we also offer education for the female entrepreneur. So not only are they making these wonderful connections to expand their business across state lines or even globally, but they're also getting the education that they need to take their business to the next level, whether that be etiquette education, mindset,
Oh.
sales, marketing, health and wellness, any of those topics that are relevant to the female entrepreneur. We offer that type of education. So women come in, it's a monthly subscription they participate in. They can drop at any time if it's not working. They can come and go if they are taking an extended vacation and need a couple months off and then want to come back into the community. So
Yeah.
it's been a really great initiative to work to bring women together. As I've shared with you, I'm the
Sounds, yeah.
founder of Professional Moms Network,
Yes.
is in
Yeah.
support of women on the ground in person. So we host in-person luncheons in all of our markets. And the
Yeah.
GlossLoft really was this brainchild to bring women from my professional moms community all over the United States
Oh,
together in a virtual setting.
that is fantastic because they really work together, in this situation. And you've built these communities pretty much. I mean, I believe that you said that you had a team, but I know that you take a lot of responsibility on for just the flow of these two organizations.
Sure. Yes. So I
Yeah.
don't do it alone. I started out doing it alone. I did it alone for about 5 years.
Oh,
And then it
wow.
got to be the point where got a little smarter along the way. And as women come into my community organically, I then find roles that will be a great fit for them to help supplement their income and also
Mhm.
allow them to shine with the gifts that they have been given that they can take off of my plate. So I've
Yeah.
never done a hiring blitz. I've never had to post a job. It's more just women that are in my community that I
That
identify
is
as rock
fantastic.
stars, and then
Yeah.
I invite them to come on board in some capacity.
Oh, that's a great opportunity. I mean, and it's really, with you, with the expertise that you have, building it for the first 5 years on your own, and then now you have the support. You have women within your community. What advice would you have for women, that might be looking to either start their own business, or they want to start an organization, a women's organization, or there are men watching, so maybe men who want to start an organization. What kind of advice would you give them, knowing the journey that you've been on?
Well, first of all, you can never underestimate the power of partnership. And
Mhm.
even though I was building alone, I was always partnering with mentors and business coaches that I was bouncing ideas off of and gaining advice along the way. So I would say, first and foremost, don't ever try to go it alone from even
Yeah.
the consulting standpoint. Get with someone who has paved the way before you, learn from their fumbles so that you can
Mhm.
hang on to the ball a little bit longer and a little bit tighter. We know there are going to be, mess ups along the way, but some of that can be avoided by having someone tell you what worked for them, what didn't work for them. So I would say, first
Yeah.
and foremost, if you're looking to start anything, or maybe you're in the early stages, get into a community of women or men that have done it before you that can give you some great advice. I think that's probably the main first step, is to
Yeah,
share your
that's great
ideas with other
advice.
people. Get with them, let them give you
Mhm.
their input. Always get an outside of eyes to understand how you're perceived. Find someone that
Mhm.
will be honest with you, and then begin just pursuing whatever it is that God has put in your heart, which is,
Mm.
beautifully unique.
Yes, yeah. I love the way that you share that, because that's coming from your heart, Joey. And I know that you've helped so many women, in their journey. And right now you have a cruise that is on the books, and it's already, women are signing up. And can you share a little bit about that? And then I want to go back to the moms group too, because I have some questions about that. But let's talk about that cruise. So that is in February. And you want to share what, just how exciting and what you have, planned?
So very excited. So it's
Wow.
actually year number 4 for us. We, believe it or not, survived through the big C word when many businesses similar to ours have found it difficult to rebound. Our community has
Yeah.
been so independently supportive of itself as an organization and of one another that we
Yeah.
found a way to continue. So year number 4, we are sailing this year on Princess Discovery from LA to Cabo. It's
Oh.
5 nights aboard Discovery Princess and with an overnight in Cabo. It's
Hmm.
a wonderful investment because it's 100% tax deductible. So I like
Yes.
to say, rather rather than give your money to Uncle Sam, invest it in
Put
yourself,
yourself on a cruise, a business
in
cruise.
your business. While on board, we do 8
Yes.
hours of professional development. So that will give the women that are there an opportunity to not only network and expand their connections in person, but also to go home feeling renewed with some new skills, revived. They can make 2024 their best year ever. And many of them even bring along their spouse. So if they want to make it a fun trip, the women will go to the meetings, but then we all network together with our spouses or our best friends in tow. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there's plenty of things for the men to do when, you know, when they're on the ship.
Yes,
so they're
our
not going to
guys
be
actually
bored.
become friends with one another.
Yeah.
My husband has 2 buddies now that he met a couple of years ago on a cruise, and I think they text more with each other than I do with their wives. Believe it
my
or not.
gosh.
So, yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's great to see that kind of, you know, community and support.
It's great when
you know, with
husbands
husbands,
wives as well, right? Or partners
Yeah.
support their partners. So it's been a really great adventure together. We have this just goes to show you what a wonderful reception that we receive on this event. We have more than 30 sponsors of this event. Those are
Wow.
women-owned businesses that have decided to put their name and their brand and their dollars associated with our organization so that we partner together to promote one another. And that's because we're really making a difference in the lives of these women and in their businesses. And I'm just so honored that they would agree to sponsor our event.
I mean, that's admirable because as we all know, sponsors are hard to get. And I mean, I applaud you for, you know, and the community that you have, that just shows the support behind you, you know, when it comes to events like this or that are going to help empower women and, you know, really give them and some of the husbands too and partners, you know, where they'll be able to participate and, you know, still, you know, be with their partner at that event. But
100%.
that's great.
I like to say I'm just steering the ship and I've got an amazing team paddling behind me. Women, I consider the women in my community part of my team, and they really are what make it sail and what make it beautiful. No puns intended with the cruise, but it really is true. It's, you know, it takes sort of steer. I feel very blessed to be shepherding a flock of women that share their lives with me, share their businesses with me. And I like to say, as we transition into hopefully talking a little bit about Professional Moms Network, there's always a seat at our table for someone new.
Oh, I love the way you say that. I mean, that just shows how passionate you are about, you know, just helping and supporting women. And, you know, when I think of how we came together with Caterina, that was the first thing that she mentioned about you was, aside from, you know, being an etiquette, I mean, just a quintessential etiquette professional, and knowing that you have this incredible cruise plan. She, you know, had mentioned that to me. She told me about it. I can't go because of the dates. But do you want to mention the dates of the cruise, and then we'll get into the professional moms group.
It's February, setting sail out of LA, February 19th.
Yeah.
And we come back there to Long Beach. It's actually out of Long Beach where the port is in Los Angeles on the 24th. So 19th through the 24th. They can find all of the details on our website, glossygetaway.com.
glossygetaway.com, and we'll make sure that that's in the comments too for the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. And let's segue into the Professional Moms group a little bit, because I know we're almost coming to the end of the broadcast, but I definitely want to, you know, talk about that and your passion behind that. And then also, you know, what moms within that group, what kind of things have cultivated from having this professional network?
Do we have to come to the end of time? Because
I know we can keep talking. I love talking with you too, Jilly. You're just so pleasant to talk with.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel the same about you, Shelley. Thank you for hosting.
So
Professional Moms Network is dedicated to encouragement, education, association, and inspiration. And do that through facilitating in-person luncheons on a monthly basis where women can gather to support one another personally and professionally. So although we have moms in the name, because I did design it when I was a mom of two grade school children and traditional networking groups that met every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. just quite frankly were not fit for me because I needed to get my littles on the bus.
Right.
We support all women. So we like to say whether you're a mom of bigs, mom of littles, godmoms, grandmoms, pet moms,
Moms of fur babies.
not yet moms, anyone that wants to do
Yeah.
business with moms, we welcome you. So we are simply women supporting women, and the stories that come out or that have come out, just to give you two quick highlight teasers, and women can certainly go to our website to learn more and to hear our stories. But a couple of things that stand out. One, two of the leaders of our group became such great friends after they met that one of them, who was a single mom, needed a car. Her car broke down. She could not afford a new car, and her co-ambassador gifted her a car.
Oh
So
my goodness.
that
Wow.
was
I just
out
got
of
the chills.
mom's relationship.
Wow.
And then most recently, we just had our first professional mom's adoption.
Oh,
Yes. So we have
wow.
our ambassadors are the leaders of our chapter. They're the women whose feet are on the ground leading the luncheons in all of our markets. And
Yeah.
one of our ambassadors is a lovely foster mom. She, at the drop of a hat, could have a new baby in her arms at any time of day. And she had been fostering a lovely little girl. And it was determined that she wasn't going to be able to adopt this child. She and her husband, it wasn't going to fit into their world. So she knew that another one of our ambassadors had a daughter and a son-in-law who had been battling infertility and went into the foster program. And so she, her co-ambassador, who's actually our diamond sponsor of the cruise, by the way.
Oh gosh.
She
And you
called,
have to give her a shout out since
yeah,
she's a
it's
sponsor.
absolutely, I'd love to. Her name's Erica Clay. She's
Erica
with
Clay.
Insurance out of Oklahoma, state of Oklahoma.
Oh.
And Jenny, ambassador number one, foster mom, called Erica, ambassador number two, and said, "Hey, I know your daughter is fostering, and we would love to ask if she would like to adopt
Oh
our
my
child."
gosh.
And
Wow.
so that happened. Jenny and Erica had not met one another until professional moms, and they really developed a relationship where they knew that they could trust one another. And so those are the types of
That
things
is
that we're doing,
incredible.
right? And
And those are huge stories.
yeah, they're
I mean, when you think of, I mean, it's paying it forward. It's, really caring about other people and finding the need and having a solution, and that's the power of your network. And that's something, I mean, I really applaud you, Joey, for putting these groups together and supporting, like you said, it's not just moms, moms come in all different shape, sizes, and different backgrounds and things like that. So it's really for anyone, any female, I would imagine, that that really wants to be part of a community that's thriving and supporting each other and collaborative. Women that have their own businesses. It's primarily women that have their own businesses, right?
Really, it's women of all sorts. We have network marketers, we have brick and mortar owners, we have traditional entrepreneurs, we have CEOs. We really have a mix. We have women that are in transition that don't currently have a business. We have stay-at-home moms. It's just an organization for women who want to support other women and really want to walk that walk. You can go into a lot of groups where they say, "Oh, we're here to network." We don't even call ourselves a networking group. We're a connection organization.
It's so much more than that.
And out of that, we're doing tons of business together. So when you like people, you want to do business with them.
Oh, well, I really appreciate you sharing, GlossLoft and also the Professional Moms Network. I think that, both you should be absolutely applauded for, what you have done and put together and supporting the women that you support. And we're going to have you back on the show after your cruise, because you're going to have more stories to share, right?
Let's do it. I love
What happens on the cruise, or is it what happens on the cruise stays on the cruise?
Well, we know that that is also partially true, but I will
Yeah.
come share the parts that are shareable. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, again, I just, I want to thank Joey for, having you on the show today. And we will make sure that all the links are in the show notes so that people can connect with you. And what is the best way for people to connect with you? If you could share, because we're also audio on all of the podcast platforms. So we want to make sure people can get to you.
Absolutely. I would love to hear from anyone. Probably the best way is just to zip me an email and it will go to my admin inbox. And then they always make sure that those come to me if it's a personal note for me. So it will end up in my lap, and they can do that at GlossLoft at gmail.com. So we have just an
Okay.
easy Gmail address. They can also connect with us through our Professional Moms website, which is professionalmoms.network, professionalmoms.network, or GlossLoft at gmail.com. And I would love to hear from
Perfect.
any of your listeners. I welcome
Yes.
that introduction.
Oh, well, but definitely. And again, congratulations on all your success. And, now that you're an empty nester, you're going to have more shows and things like that you're going to be invited to, I'm sure, because you're just an amazing guest, Joey. And thank you so much for being here. And we also want to thank our sponsor, which is Endeavor Mortgage with Dan Leonard, and they're out in Seal Beach, California, although they can work all over the U.S. And we want to give him a shout out. And again, Joey, thank you so much for being on the show. And we will follow up probably next year sometime and hear about this phenomenal cruise that you have going.
Thanks, Shelley. It's been an honor to be with you tonight.
Oh, thank you. And the honor is all mine. Thank you so much for being on the show. All right. Well, we'll see you next time. And thank you for, all of our followers and listeners. We were actually live in several different groups, including the Global Women's Networking Group. So we want to make sure that all of the 5,000 plus women in that group that you're on watching this, broadcast. And I'll put the links in so that you can connect with Joey. We'll make sure that, that you have the good information that you need to find out about the cruise, find out about GlossLoft, and also the Professional Moms group. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And we will catch you next time.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you.